Everybody should get off Twitter. Like, Twitter is such a disaster.
I ran out of characters to write my description, so I decided to do a little stitch and go into a little bit more detail. But yeah, Anna pretty much lays it out there. I have been a topless equality activist for 10 plus years, and Twitter was basically the only place that I could post, clips of my uncensored content that wasn't just a platform just for porn, like, OnlyFans. And when I hardcore quit in November, it was a big blow as far as being a content creator. I lost access to basically everyone who wasn't on a porn site looking for porn, or who was on like Instagram or something where I'm constantly shadow banned or just straight up banned, despite, many other accounts showing way more flesh than me. But I just reached this point where enough was enough. I had been meaning to quit Twitter for a while anyway. And when Elon Musk officially took over and all of a sudden like right-wingers were just showing up the top of every thread, the whole thing about like selling the blue check marks and everything like that, I just was like, enough was enough. So I just straight up quit Twitter. It was funny because I tried to deactivate my account, and right when I did, Twitter was like, actually you're suspended, you can't quit, I'm firing you. But it's just, it was a difficult decision, because I knew that I would be cutting myself off from access to a lot of potential supporters. But I just realized that Twitter is not a place for thoughtful discourse. I mean, the character count and the dreaded quote tweet feature, and just the algorithmic push where the more a post gets interacted with, the more it's going to show up at the top. And I mean all social media except for Mastodon and Fediverse, we get into that in another video, except for places like that, small alternative platforms. But like TikTok, YouTube, everything like that is the same way. But Twitter, I feel like, is especially bad because not having video, only having a few characters and text, it just opens the doorway to so much miscommunication, mischaracterization, which is the biggest thing. And, the way that quote tweets are weaponized, where a large account will quote tweet somebody, and sometimes the tweet that they're dragging out is years old, and they will drag it out and be like, hey everyone, look at this piece of shit, let's go tell them what a piece of shit they are. And so all the little psychophants, jump over and will just send hate to that person and assume that based on one tweet or one thread, but often just even one tweet, they can summarize that person's entire ideology to what they said in that one, 10-year-old tweet. And it didn't really so much happen to me because, I was not famous or anything like that. Although you can become famous overnight if a big enough account retweets you, and or not retweets but quote tweets you, become infamous rather than famous. But I would see it to happen to other people, and it was always just, there are legitimate terrible people out there. There's plenty of terrible people, and a lot of those people even invite getting hate quote tweeted and stuff because they know it's going to give them more views, and they know that they are going to find people receptive to their argument within that crowd. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, I appreciate that it seems like more and more leftists, because I don't fucking hate about right-wingers claiming that everything is cancel culture, more leftists point out how bad Twitter is, because hopefully it gets to a point where, Twitter's already hemorrhaging money and everything like that, but hopefully it gets to a point where even the leftists that I think have useful things to say at least try places like Mastodon. A lot of them still will post the same message to both, and don't even check Mastodon for comments or anything, so they're not really joining Mastodon. But Mastodon it's a different thing. It's a lot to get into in one video. I actually have videos up on YouTube that I've done that kind of go into more detail, but basically, instead of it being one centralized platform, it's a bunch of servers that interact with each other. And so you can try different servers, it's like trying different restaurants until you find one that you like, and then they'll communicate with each other. And then there's like a whole etiquette and everything like that. And like if you join, a leftist server, they're likely to defederate from like a racist server, so you won't even see the racist tweets, or not tweets, toots, whatever you want to call them, posts. And it's just, anyway, it's this whole thing. But, it's a little bit difficult to figure out at first, but it's really not that difficult. And people are just so much nicer. Nicer on Mastodon. There's a lot less knee-jerk assumption of the worst thing about you, and they're real mods, like real people mods. So if you do get in trouble, that you can generally appeal it, and it'll actually go to a real person who will actually consider your appeal, not just, jump into the algorithm and get auto rejected, like happens every time one of my videos gets taken on a mainstream site for bullshit reasons. So I invite you to try Mastodon. I'm at Topless Topics at eldritch.cafe. That's my main one. I'm trying out some other servers. I might end up switching my main account to another one. That's another thing about Mastodon is like, you don't have to keep your accounts separate. Like it's fine. It's fine to have multiple accounts on multiple servers, and you can boost your own posts if you want. I think if you do every post, it gets a little obnoxious, but anyway, so yeah, it's worth trying out. But yeah, if you're still using Twitter, the other thing I was going to throw in there is that I see an argument from a lot of people that are still on Twitter, like, well, I don't see the Nazi tweets, I just don't follow them. And you're still giving free content to a website that does embrace horrible people. Like, you're still driving traffic and keeping that platform in business, such as it is, whatever's left of Twitter. So if you're okay with that, great. But, just keep that in mind when you continue to use Twitter. So yeah, it's a little ironic talking about this on like Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and everything like that, because they also do a lot of this. And again, it's hard as a content creator because if I only use alternative platforms like Mastodon, basically no one sees my posts. That's the whole thing. So anyway, yeah, I just, like I said, I'm glad to see more and more leftists point out the toxicity of Twitter. And, like Anna says, get off Twitter. She didn't mention Mastodon, and she probably doesn't, I don't think she even uses Mastodon. But, and I mean, I'm not saying you have to do Mastodon. That's just the one that I have found to have the least amount of Nazis. And when there are Nazis, you don't even have to interact with them. I think most of the other platforms, alternative platforms that are coming out, are already getting flooded with, the same terrible people that make stuff like Twitter. And again, you don't have to be a right-winger to be a terrible person. There's a lot of people on Twitter who have basically built their fame off mischaracterizing people, or like looking for people to be like, let's all hate on this person. Like, they don't really have their own opinions. All they do is drive hate to other people. So, all right. Anyway, yeah, I got to get packed. I got to get ready for VidCon. I'm leaving in 2 days. So that's really exciting. So yeah, thanks for pointing it out, Anna. And if anyone else watches this, wants to share their experiences or what they've seen happen on Twitter, go ahead and leave it in the comments. I actually really like reading comments and getting a dialogue going. And it would be great to have more people see my videos than just gun nuts. Yeah. All right.